Speaking about, I don't know. We might talk a little bit about impeachment in this, but I think this clip is going to take us to talking about one Marjorie Taylor Greene.
He stands for nothing except the perpetuation of his own position. He has no values, and in my view, cares about little except for hoping to be speaker one day. God forbid.
He's talking about Kevin McCarthy.
Look, if members of either party are threatening violence against other members of the party, of the body, and suggesting they be executed, if they are casting doubt on 9/11 or school shootings, if they're heckling victims of crime, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did with the victim of the Parkland shooting, if they're suggesting that
and I found out we had 9 or 10 Republicans voted to strip her of her committee assignments. We did the live stream. I found out that the reason why they voted to strip her was because all the districts that they represented had something that she had assaulted, like they'd had a school shooting, or they were affected by 9/11, or they had a community that was affected by 9/11. So therefore, like, that's the reason why those Republicans voted against her, or she'd made fun of something that was actually in her district or in their district that happened. It's sad that with any fucking right winger, it has to affect them personally before they will do the right thing.
religious group is shooting laser beams to start forest fires, they should be expelled from their committees, whatever party they are in. They shouldn't, frankly, even be in the Congress. Look, Kevin McCarthy stands for nothing except the perpetuation of his own position. He has no values.
Exactly. Meghan McCain. Says impeachment is a losing strategy.
Right. So, Meghan, I know you had a lot to say about Liz Cheney when I was here when we were talking about her last week. Do you think she's going to have any more of an impact than she's already had?
I would think Meghan McCain is behind Liz
There was a
Cheney.
really interesting report that came out in Axios over the weekend that said that Kevin McCarthy actually asked her to apologize for voting for impeachment. And she said that. She said people in the caucus asked me to vote to apologize.
Ask her to apologize for voting for impeachment, for doing the right thing. NWO for life. One more for the good guys.
She said that publicly, and it's interesting to know that it's the leader of the caucus that asked her to do that, and she defiantly said she won't apologize and she has nothing to apologize for. I now am feeling very concerned.
I have something to apologize for because I now am feeling very dirty for thoughts that I had when I was younger. I had the biggest crush on Meghan McCain. We're about the same age. I became like, she was like teenager when he was running for president in 2000. Like, I seriously think we're like the exact same age. And she was like on stage and shit with him. They were doing spotlights on the family. Like, I had the biggest crush on Meghan McCain. But she, then I listened to her talk. I do not feel that way any longer.
Concerned about the fact that the leader of Republicans in Congress seems to think that if you're for impeachment, you have something to apologize for and atone for. And
she's right here. Wow.
Strategy. I'm very skeptical of the big tent party narrative right now because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of love for the Liz Cheneys of the party, which I guess at this point includes me. I will say that I've been feeling very tribal about being a Republican lately in the sense that it seems like the only good Republican to a lot of people is one that is no longer in power and is irrelevant, or a person who goes on TV and sort of atones for all the sins of the Republican Party, that claims to be a Republican but has actually no Republican or conservative bona fides to speak for. And I'm very skeptical of the promises that we will respect.
I feel like she's like taking a shot at Michael Steele, isn't she? Which he like has no Republican bona fides. He was the head of the RNC.
The Liz Cheney's after this. I mean, my question is how long until we start trashing her? And I think she's doing.
They are trashing her.
She's a red-blooded conservative. She's not a squish. She's not a rhino. She's not someone in the middle. So at a certain point, will she become someone that the media no longer respects simply for continuing to be a conservative? Because that seems to be the ultimate sin right now. And I think we're seeing across places like the New York Times, in big tech, a bleeding and a bloodletting of Republicans and conservative values across. And I don't think it's
big
healthy
tech
for our country. I don't think it's healthy for politics. And I think the best thing for America is a healthy, robust two-party system. And I really worry about the future of that.
Right. Do you? I'm going to ask this question because you made an interesting point. Do you think we can still have a
Whoa! I bet Meghan doesn't get told that very often.
two-party system, or has who made that virtually impossible? Because, like you, Liz Cheney does not believe that what this man was saying was good for the party, doesn't think it was good to continue the lie. So what do you do when you have a party that is determined to stick to a lie?
I mean, that's the $64,000 question right now, Whoopi. And I think, you're seeing this fracture within the party, and there will be a fine line. There's a line right now. I will not accept QAnon. I will not accept any of this anti-Semitism and bile that's being spewed by a certain faction, or even I think when you rhetoric like this and actions like this, then you're just allowing more behavior. You're sort of dog whistling that this behavior is accepted. And I do think we're going to see where this lands. But the question of the voting bloc, especially college-educated women who are just fleeing the party right now, ultimately it will come down to how many votes they can whip up. And Liz Cheney didn't have a hard time getting 145 to 62 votes in Congress for her. So I think there's a lot of quiet supporters, but it remains to be seen. A lot of people disagree with me.
What good does it do to have quiet supporters? I'm going to tell you that there's no way that wing of the party wins out, and the reason why is because Marjorie Taylor Greene is turning her cancellation, just like Josh Hawley turning his cancellation of his book into a cash grab. QAnon Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene might not have a lot to do in the House after being stripped of her committee roles, but that'll just give her more time to swim around in the cash she's raised off of being an unrepentant conspiracy theory peddler. Greene predictably sent out a fundraising plea Wednesday after being stripped of her committee assignments, downplaying her own comments and asking why House Democrats instead don't censure their own members, including Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Rashida Tlaib. My wafu. Because of course she did. Why? What did they do when AOC encouraged protesters to punch a cop? I don't remember that ever happening. They make up shit. But we need to stick together. Please donate today. It's a fucking grift. Greene's attempt to grift for campaign dollars off her own removal for being a crank is working, according to Greene. She told the Washington Examiner this week that she's raised more than $300,000 in 2 days leading up to her removal. And she's raised $1.6 million after calls for her expulsion from Congress. God damn! Being a right-winger is so profitable.